I will try to explain the apparent over-interest of FAROUK Kibet in Malava constituency. First of all, I'm not happy with his when he goes to public meetings, he carries his own microphone and public address system. It is bad. Uh, he's lucky he was not there during Moi's time. Because in Moi's time, doing certain things, however remote or well-intentioned one may have, Moi used to interpret that to mean that you are equating yourself to the president. But back to today's topic, I will try to explain the apparent interest of FAROUK in Malava constituency. Two main reasons come up. Chepsaita, where he comes from, is very near Manda. You know, Chepsaita is the original home area of William Samoei Arap Ruto. And for those of you who like comedy, that is where Smart Joker settled. That is where he settled. He was not born there, but he settled in Chepsaita. Another name is Kamasai. Now, if you meet Smart Joker, tell him to say hi to Ruto's relatives. But Ruto later settled in Sugoi. I said there are two main reasons why two main reasons come up to my mind. First one is Chepsaita, where FAROUK Kibet comes from, is near Manda. Manda is in Malava. In my estimation, the distance between the two is like from Kangemi to Uthiru. The second reason is he was very close to Moses Malulu Injendi. The closeness of Malulu Injendi and Kibet, to me, is suspect. It may have been genuine on the part of Kibet, but not of the political squirrel in the person of the late Malulu Injendi. Malulu Injendi was a political survivist that he could create friendship with a person whom he knew was very close to the president. Most of the frontrunners in the constituency being mentioned here are either UDA followers or UDA leaning people or political parties. That is, those people who are being mentioned as possible candidates for the seat. So candidates are UDA leaning, but the voters are not. I'm talking of now, and I'm also talking of 2022. In 2022, the voters in Malava constituency were leaning away from UDA. And even now, the only reason that they voted for Malulu Injendi, who was UDA leaning or Kenya Kwanza leaning, was because of his Sungura Mujanja politics. But if you go to the ground, you'll find that residents there are not pro-UDA. And I can tell you that as of now, if things remain the way they are, most of the people who are being mentioned as the likely candidates or even as the likely people to win the seat are UDA leaning. With no strong and UDA candidates, voters who are non-UDA will have to choose within the UDA basket. It is for this reason that advice should be given to FAROUK Kibet to tread very carefully. If he interferes with the nomination, or forces popular candidates to either, if he interferes with the nomination, forces popular candidates either to step aside and or endorse his hand-picked candidate, the voters may turn to other side by either voting for an opposition candidate or voting for an independent candidate. Remember, I said that most candidates around Malava are UDA. But if Farouk or any other person in the authority, although in this program we are now talking about Farouk, if they force an unpopular candidate, people will either vote for UDA leaning candidate who has gone to be independent, or anti-UDA candidate may win. Remember, Pastor Ezekiel of Mavueni in Coast told Ruto that Ruto did not win the election. It is the other fellow who lost the election. By this I mean, this seat is for UDA for the taking. But if the UDA messes with it, it will either go to an independent or it will go to a non-UDA person. So far, no candidate has announced his political party except Sunguti. We know that Panyako used to have a position in UDA and he resigned. That is a clear way of his impending moving out. But Sunguti is the only one who has declared his candidature. Some popular candidates such as David Dakwa appear to have chickened off, most likely due to orders from above. Orders from above may not be applicable to the electors. After losing their choice, after losing the person they prefer, they may vote for anybody else or even keep off. I was supporting Caleb Sunguti, or rather, I held him in high hopes. But due to reasons that I may explain later, I made it open, even to him, that I do not support him. I don't know why he bolted from the party that he associated with for long, because to me, even with what I've just said, I have formed an opinion that Caleb Sunguti stood a better chance with the party that he is associated with. But he's going to Roots Party is, to me, it's a way of avoiding, what do you call, the first round selection within parties. He has chosen a party which is very sure that he will get direct nomination. So to him, the intention is to appear on the ballot paper. What's more, he has even been appointed a national official of that party. Now, finding somebody in that constituency to go and try to wrestle out the party ticket from him is very hard. I do not want to appear to spend long discussion on Suguti, but the decision to change party was not well thought of. Furthermore, Wajakoya is seen as more of a Sarakasi, stoogy person than a serious candidate. As of now, many people on the ground believe that Farouk wants to impose either Malulu's son or an educationist who assisted him to have papers. Rumors on the ground has it that Farouk wanted papers so as to prepare him for the terrible seat in 2027. He is said to have been assisted to gain the minimum qualification. So Mwalimu, who assisted him, stands a good chance of him trying to rig him out. Whatever the case, the electorate chooses the final MP. I know that the boy is one of the front runners, but Farouk being a Kalenjin and being the main sponsor of Chepsaita marathon should remember in marathon we have people who are called rabbits. People who run very fast, but within 10 kilometers, they are burned out. I suspect the boy can be that way. He cannot withstand a long-term campaign. And then again, he is inheriting. He is he is inheriting his father's seat. Half a year ago, nobody knew him. Suddenly, he wants to finish the good work of his father. In all public meetings he has attended so far, he has only been mentioning his father. That is the only topic he has. But was his father a performer? Peter Selassie and Nabi Nabwera, among many, have done more development in 2 years than what the late Malulu did in 2 terms. So trying to use his name as a nini, I think it is a minus. There are those wondering about Thagarism of Sir Charles Ongondo Were. They are better placed to understand that Malulu Injendi falls under those things. He was already known in Google for his Thagarism. If you Google Malulu Injendi harassing teacher who do not toe in his line, that is there. This is despite the fact that he was a secondary school teacher, that is, he was a secondary school and trained teacher, and a lecturer before joining politics. There are 2 towns with the same name. Both are called Malava. There is one in Busia and this one we are talking about. But the one in Busia ends with the word B, and this one ends with a V. I don't know whether I don't know how the Busia people came up with the name Malava, but in Malava, Cabras, the name came this way. Once along a time, there was a hunter who went to Malava forest. He went to hunt for wild animals. When he came back, he had not killed even one. People asked him why. He said, Omuchuru kuno kwala bange Malava. It is a bit hard to translate it. It says this forest is as clear as clearness, as whiteness or clearness or bareness. So Malava gets his name from bareness. With those few remarks, have a nice time, my viewer.